Welcome back to the general characters of gymnosperms. The 11th point is they are heterosporous. Heterosporous means for the reproduction it is producing two types of spores. The two types of spores are microspores. Microspore means they are the male spores and megaspores. Megaspores means they are the female spores. Okay. The microspores are producing within microsporangia. And megaspores are producing within megasporangia. Then the leaf which possess these sporangia or spores are called as sporophyll. So the leaves which possess these spores are called as sporophylls. Okay. So this microsporangia as well as megasporangia is present in the axils of sporophylls. Okay. Then we know in stem, suppose this is a stem, the lateral branches, the lateral organs, everything arises from its node. Okay. So this is a node. Suppose from this node a leaf is emerging. Then suppose this is a second node from which another leaf is emerging. Then the gap between these two adjacent nodes are called as internode. Internode. Okay. So these sporophylls are also emerging from different nodes. Suppose these internodes are very compact, what will happen? These sporophylls will aggregate together and they will form a structure. That structure is known as sporangia or cone. So the sporophylls aggregate together and forms strobili or cone. Okay, this is another characteristic feature of gymnosperms in which strobili or cone is present. Then what is strobili or cone? These sporophylls are aggregate together and forms a structure. That structure is called as cone or strobili. Then comes to the 13th point. So in the first session we discussed that the common name for gymnosperms are naked seeded plants. What do you mean by naked seeded plants? The seeds in gymnosperms are exposed. That means there is no ovary. What do you mean by ovary? In case of angiosperms, after fertilization, what is happening? The ovary becomes the fruit and ovule becomes a seed. Here, the ovules are not present within the ovary. Instead, the ovules are exposed. Then the type of ovule present in gymnosperm is orthotropous. So, the gymnosperms have orthotropous ovule. They are exposed. It is not present within the ovary. Then what do you mean by orthotropous ovule? Suppose this is a nucellar tissue. This is nucellus. And it is protected within a single integument. So, this is nucellus and this is integument. And this is a micropylar region and this is a chelacal region. So, based on the position of this micropylar end and chelacal end, there are different types of ovules. And suppose these micropylar as well as the chelacal end are present in 360 degree, not 360, in 180 degree, 180 degree, this type of ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. Okay. So, here a single integument is present, so that condition is called as unitechnic condition. Unitechnic condition. Unitechnic condition means there is a single integument. But you should note one point that even it possesses a single integument, it is differentiated into 3 layers. 3 layers. The middle layer is stony and inner as well as the outer layers are fleshy. Okay, so it possesses a single integument, but it is differentiated into three parts: outer and inner fleshy layer, and the middle layer is stony. Okay, this is the structure of an orthotropous ovule. Then what will happen during the time of pollination or during the time of fertilization? Some of the cells in the nucellar region will disorganize and forms a small chamber here. That small chamber is called as pollen chamber. Pollen chamber, because in gymnosperm there is no flower, so there is no special landing space like stigma in case of gymnosperms. Instead, the pollen chamber is acting as a receptive spot of pollen grains in the receptive spot of microspores in case of gymnosperms. Okay, so this is a type of ovule present in gymnosperms, that is orthotropous ovule. In orthotropous ovule, the microbilar as well as the chalaza end are in 180 degree, and it possesses a single integument, so that condition is called as unitechnic condition. And even it possesses a single integument, it is differentiated into three layers: outer and inner fleshy layer and middle stony layer. Okay. Then we are moving to the 14th point, that is the type of pollination. So in case of algae, they are aquatic. So for the gamete transfer, also it is utilizing water. In case of bryophytes and pteridophytes, to complete the life cycle, both bryophytes and pteridophytes require water for the transport of gametes. Okay, so the gametes are moving through water. Then from gymnosperms onwards, in gymnosperms and angiosperms, the process of pollination is there. Pollen transfer is there. Okay, so in gymnosperms, the type of pollination is only anemophilous, or only wind pollination is present in gymnosperms. Anemophilous type of pollination. So the only type of pollination present in gymnosperm is